Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Elves, Rings, Nerdy Things. Again, we tally forth with Andor Season 2. We are on to episode 5, which is called I Have Friends Everywhere. Sam, how are you? I feel like I just talked to you.
I know, it's weird. This is the most we've talked to each other in weeks. This is good though. I'm doing well. I'm doing just as well as I was last week when we talked.
Hey, for all those listeners out there who played Baldur's Gate 3, it is super easy to crossplay between different consoles and PC. Just played with a couple of my friends from high school, and we had 2 Xboxes, a PlayStation, and a PC, all playing at the same time.
It's a
very
rainbow,
fun.
a rainbow coalition of gaming.
Which made me realize, like, to me, this is the first game online, and especially in like a campaign story mode type game, where this type of crossplay has existed, and I'm wondering why it took so long.
Probably just the processing necessary to translate between the different consoles. That's my assumption, and maybe it eats up a lot of bandwidth, and we finally have the internet structure and the processing power to accommodate
Servers and all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Something with electrons,
Yeah, well done, Larian, though, because it's a whole lot of fun to be able to play with your friends and not have to worry about, oh, do you have a PlayStation? Do you have an Xbox? Oh, you're playing on PC? What a weirdo.
What?
Yeah.
No. You console sickos are the real weirdos. PC gamers unite. We own it.
But anyway, brief aside on Baldur's Gate 3. In all honesty, Sam and I are recording multiple episodes in one day so we can play Baldur's Gate 3 together next time or next week instead of record.
And it won't be like a live stream. We'll probably talk about it on the podcast if
Oh, dude,
there's
maybe we should just Twitch it.
sure.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We don't have enough of a following for that.
Yeah, it would just be us sitting there and you know competing with e-girls and Fox headsets.
Yeah, that would be fun though to have like a what happened last week in Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
update for everybody. But
Sam and Sean murdered people.
they went evil and killed townsfolk.
Can we both be the Dark Urge? Do you know?
I don't know. I've never played as the Dark Urge.
I started a Dark Urge. I didn't get very far.
Is it any different?
Yeah. Oh, there's tons of stuff. There's like whole new endings and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the whole. It's like I think it's supposed to be the quote unquote like canonical story is the playing as the Dark Urge because that's what the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 was about. Was like the was it the ball spawn? I think. So we could.
Well, there you go.
We could do that.
Replay as Dark
Urge. Really dark. Yeah.
Yeah, you do that, and I'll be a necromancer, and then we'll just destroy everybody.
Just bodies and skeletons and zombies.
Yeah,
and
Nike, just do it.
Just do it. Just kill everybody that you come across and animate their corpse.
Just bursting sinew every corpse around you.
Oh god,
it'll be fun.
All right, well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about episode 5 in season 2 of Andor. As you said, it's titled "I Have Friends Everywhere." And here's your plot summary. Clea learns that Sculdun intends to audit his antiquity collection, having discovered a forgery, thus threatening to expose a bug she has planted in his gallery and forcing her to extract it during his upcoming investiture party. Cassian connects with the Ghorman rebels and learns that they plan to intercept a weapons shipment, but he judges them to be too inexperienced and shoots down the plan, much to their frustration. Syril reports back to Coruscant with news of this heist, with Partagaz and Dedra agreeing to allow it to pan out to stir up the rebels. Saw kills Pluty after learning he is a traitor and has Wilman work the extractor on the heist in his place. Right,
that sequence on Coruscant where they're trying to get the bug out of the antique, loved it.
Oh,
it was high stress.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she's twisting this thing to where her hand is bleeding, trying to get it off. Poor Lonnie, dude. like
Mm-hmm.
just showing up to a party thinking that he's there for fun and has to be an active rebel in the
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Mm-hmm. In front of
Uh,
like director Krennic, right?
yeah,
Was
I
was
just
Partagaz there too, or is it just Krennic?
I don't think Partagas. Well, it's been a while since I've watched this episode. I wouldn't be surprised if he was there, but I don't recall him being
Yeah,
there. I
I don't
remember
either.
Krennic and Sculdun and a couple other like general ranking
Well,
ISB people.
there's the one guy in ISB who like takes over the Axis desk, right? Like that guy, right? He's
Yeah,
at the party. I can't
he
remember
is.
his
Yep.
name. He ends up becoming a very important character.
Yeah. Well, relatively. He is there with Lonnie because they're friends.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But that whole sequence was amazing. And then you get into um, that conflict between Mon Mothma and Krennic.
Yeah, I almost I almost resent the episode a little bit for I had a hard time focusing on their conversation because I was so uh focused rather on Clea and what she's trying to do. Like I had a hard time because like it was good stuff. It was good
Yeah.
dialogue. Um and I don't think I was able to appreciate it enough because I was so focused on the suspense part.
It was nerve wracking. And that's one of the good things about this show is when you're watching it for the first time, it's the rebellion in the lead up to Star Wars A New Hope. And we know bad things happen to the rebels. So when you're watching this episode and you're going, oh shit, this literally could go any way,
Hmm.
we have no idea what's going to happen. And then when it turns out the way it does, like this show did a really good job of giving me a sense of dread because you
Mm.
don't know what's going to happen. Just, yeah, really well done.
And Sculdun is kind of a menacing figure too. So it's like, who are their friends really in this
Yeah.
room, right? Like if push comes to shove, it's Luthen and Clea against everybody else, right? Like you don't see Mon Mothma stepping in like to protect anybody. Like she's gonna back away.
And she's
Like
got to stand her cover. And what's
yeah,
Lonnie going to
yeah.
do?
Yeah. Lonnie's probably gonna be like a human shield, right? Like
Yeah.
Clea's gonna grab him and be like, whatever, back up, and they'll just shoot him.
Yeah. Because he's got to understand that, like, his life comes second in this situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was a ton of fun. That whole scene was great. And I just kind of love the opulence, right, of Coruscant and these figures and like Scolton, he's obviously kind of a shady character, but he's super wealthy and the whole kind of invented thing around it's Senate investiture week. Right. And what did that Coruscant morning show call it? Like Vesti week or something like that. It was
Yeah.
just sometimes I get like little slang things like that don't work. And
But it worked for you.
but it worked for me. I again like I they do such a good job in making the universe feel real. They're like, yeah, there would be like a Today Show equivalent or like a
Mhm.
uh you know um
Especially on Coruscant. And I think that's the
yeah,
big
yeah.
difference between like the Star Wars of the Outer Rim versus the
Hmm.
Star Wars of the like prime planets or whatever they call it. Uh
The core world or whatever.
core worlds, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like seeing that difference. And I wish like the Disney sequels would have given us a little bit more. Because the only time we get that is that whatever that shitty casino planet is.
Oh, Canto Bite.
Canto Bite. We get that, but then it feels so out of place because it's just a throwaway sequence.
It is. And no, I mean, I think we've talked about Canto Bite a little bit before. We don't need to go into it. I hate it. It sounds like you don't like it. I
No,
don't know if,
I don't like
yeah,
it.
you don't like, I mean, but again, it's not like that's not making the world feel lived in. It is just the writer of that movie, Ryan Johnson, trying to come up with a place, right? Just like
Yeah,
a new place. And I guess he was trying to tell a little bit of a moral story of like, oh, not everybody, because it was used as a vehicle to show that people make money on both sides of the war, right?
yeah.
And like it was introducing this kind of moral ambiguity into everything, which that was an artistic choice. There's tons of different ways to do that. It didn't need to be on this ridiculous casino
This,
planet with
yeah,
like,
this show.
yeah, no, this show is a much better way of doing it. And that whole Canto Bite stuff was just, it was, they were exploding with all these like really freaky looking aliens, and it was
Mhm.
a lot of CGI, which I think Andor does a really good job of reminding us that this is a huge galaxy with tons of different species, but it's still primarily a human story.
Mhm.
Because we can relate to humans, because it's just so much easier to um, follow a human story than an alien story. And I think like Canto Bites, like so much shit was happening. So especially in those like high stress scenes, like I don't take any of this seriously. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Canto Bite. That's a Canto Bite detour. We're talking about how this world seems lived in, even when they're going from fancy parties, daytime TV on Coruscant, and um, we can contrast that with being back on Ghorman, where we have Cassian, who's
Yeah.
visiting Ghorman, which in our prior episode, we talked about how real that felt and how it's basically space France.
And Cassian on Gorman takes the persona of a clothing designer, more or
Yes,
less, who's there
yes.
to purchase some spider silk. Uh, but the big story of him being there is after some conversations with the rebels, he determines that they're not ready for rebellion, more or less. And he learns of their plan to like steal arms from the armory that's being built and um, like go on the violent offensive. And Cassian says no, and he goes back to Luthen and says no, this isn't a good idea. Um, in a nutshell, that's what happens. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think you get this sense though of Cassian being this very experienced operative, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
he adopts this persona with very little challenge. He seems like that's one of the things, and I think you talked about it in our earlier episode of like, we don't have a lot of run-ins on Coruscant. We don't establish the danger on Coruscant for Bix and for Cassian and even for Luthen and Clea. Like this episode, you get a little bit of the danger, but it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
anything that the ISB or the Empire was doing. It was their own decision to plant this bug. Like, ISB had nothing to do with the drama of the Sculdun party. They were there.
They just happen to be
They
there.
happened to
Yeah.
be there, but like that was kind of they stumbled into that one, right? Um, Nonetheless, we get Cassian here in Ghorman demonstrating the tradecraft of using his password, because isn't that like I have friends everywhere? That's kind of their sign, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's their flag of showing who I am. And he's telling them, don't be so obvious, and you kind of get him and you trust him, which is fun. It's fun to see your characters be competent at stuff, right? Like I really like it when people succeed because they're good at stuff, not because they get lucky all the time.
Yeah.
Or they don't, and they fail because they, as we will see, are they aren't ready to do what they want to do, and they're inexperienced and they make mistakes.
Even in that first scene when he finally lands and he's anticipating meeting with the Gorman rebels the next day. And he's
Hmm.
there eating like a breakfast or having a coffee or something. And one of them just walks up to him and starts talking to him. And he's kind of like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you be secretive. Like, don't just
Hmm.
walk up to me and start talking to me. Like, come on.
Yes, that was fun. And then, of course, this whole heist is based on information that Syril is passing to the resistance, the Gorman
Mm-hmm.
resistance group, intentionally in order to plant the seeds of this type of um, escalation of action. And then I love this scene because we get Syril coming back to Coruscant, and he his first stop is not his house with his mother, but rather Deidre's apartment. And they have this basically verbal foreplay where he's like, nobody followed me. Or he's like, what does he say to start off? Something like, I wasn't followed, or I got here safe. Nobody saw me. And then Deidre's like, you did well. I had two people following you. Like, I know nobody else was following you because I was following you.
Hmm.
And then she's like, we have an hour. Turn off the lights. They could be watching. It was so good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Cyril's got himself a dominatrix.
yeah, yeah. She's fucking intense.
Yeah. For a guy with mommy issues. And I think we talked about this during the dinner scene,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes total sense that he would be kind of attracted to this type
Mm-hmm.
of person. But
Mm-hmm. And now that was fun stuff. And then what
uh,
doesn't he? And then later they kind of debrief with Partagas, and he goes like, "Would it be inappropriate to tell you that this is the best day of my life, or something like that?"
yeah.
He's such a geek, but like it's, and again, the best day of his life is successfully planting information that is going to cause people to commit an armed uprising to their own doom so that the empire
He
can.
doesn't know this though.
That is true. No, that is true. That is true.
So
Um,
we'll get to that because again, I couldn't stand Syril in season 1, but I really like what they did with him in season 2.
he's really good because yeah. So we feel for Cyril, right? They do a good job with the psychological stuff between his mom and with Dedra, and seeing his excitement, and even that scene in the prior episode where he's talking to his mom and he's like, "You're watching too much, Fox News, basically."
Yeah.
Right? Like that was so good because that's something that I think, especially viewers that are our age, can probably relate to that on a pretty deep level.
Hmm.
Um, and it really like Cyril, yeah, he's such a good multifaceted human, and obviously we've seen the entire series, we know where things are going, right? Like his story is very compelling, and they do a
Yeah.
good job in this episode of driving it home. Even though, yeah, he's excited because he gets to play spy, even though we know that there's more nefarious things going on.
Hmm. And the last big thing in this episode is back to Saw Gerrera and Wilmon. A guy named Pluty, who Wilmon was trying to teach how to use this rhydonium extractor, turns out to be a traitor and has been feeding information to the Empire. And he gets killed by Saw right there. Um, Again, another example of Saw kind of just being a lone wolf.
Yeah, again, it's one of these things like, how does he keep attracting he has a following, right? He's got
Mhm.
loyal people. We don't know a ton about Pluty. Like prior to this, like was he established as a character in any other?
Not that I'm familiar with,
Yeah, it was
no.
just this episode and the one prior. Then he just gets shot in the face, and uh, yeah, it's like, oh, people really enthusiastic to work for Saw Gerrera. Like, he's gonna say, oh, he was a spy for the Empire, but you're basing that off him asking for it, information so that to make to ostensibly do his job better. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't a spy. I'm just saying like it's a little flimsy.
I think I also thought I remembered them saying like they found something on his person.
I think that was something that they just made up in
Mm.
order to. I think Saw when Pluty asked Saw, just tell me what station we're going to so I can memorize the sequence. Saw's like, the only reason that you need that information right now is because you're a spy. I'm going to shoot you. And then he justifies it by saying, we found a secret transmitter because we never see a transmitter or anything
See,
like
yeah,
that.
they got me. If
Yeah.
that's true.
I think that's, I mean, again, I might have been looking down at my burrito, but
And it might have only been like the one. There's only like 2 or 3 episodes this season that I only watched once. So it could be one that I missed, but
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. And then this, we stick with Saw, right? On this, at the actual heist of the fuel.
no, that's later on, I believe.
That is okay. No, I think this is it. I think that's this episode.
I mean, it's a throwaway scene, so we can just talk about it quick. But well,
But it's so weird because it has this like sense of um like climax almost, especially for it feels like it's trying to be a moment for Willman, but I don't get it. Right? He like takes his mask
it's
off and screams into the night or something. It's very strange.
he breathes in the rhydonium, and I think it's like him kind of embracing the extremist views, and this is him leaving Luthen and doing his own thing with Saw Gerrera for a while. Because then later on in the season, spoiler alert, Wilmon comes back and they kind of talk about briefly his leaving Luthen uh, to join Saw and then eventually joining the rebellion. But again, it was all just kind of wasted time when they could have
Yeah.
been given me more.
Yeah, give us more. Any of the others. I think that's the thing. Like we talked about it last episode. The Saw Gerrera stuff is a little bit of a distraction. Like it could have been an Easter egg in the final episode of the season because that would actually lead directly into Rogue One, which is where like we see Saw and we see the end of Saw. Yeah, but like when Wilman does come back into the show on Yavin, again, spoiler alert for a show that's been out for a while now. Like he doesn't even mention, oh yeah, I was with Saw for 6 months, but it just got too extreme and he's too paranoid or whatever else. Like other people give that characterization of Saw, but not the guy who ostensibly was like working with him closely. So
Yeah.
it just seems like a little bit of a misguided direction for Wilman and time misspent.
But that's it for this episode.
That's it for this episode. So tune in next week for our continuing coverage of Andor and potentially some Baldur's Gate 3 shenanigans. Will Sean and I save the Grove? Will we betray the Grove? Will we
Betray the Grove.
kill the owl bear or rescue the owl bear?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.